have done it too. You know you have. Not to a stranger, not in some abstract scenario you can file under stress or confusion. You did it to someone who hurt you, and you did it with your own hands, and you told yourself it was kindness or maturity or peacekeeping. You comforted the person who had just wounded you. You watched them cry or rage or collapse, and you moved toward the damage instead of away from it. You held the weapon and the wound at the same time. This is not forgiveness. Forgiveness would require a boundary first. This is something older and more automatic. The pattern begins in the architecture of dependence. A child learns quickly that the adult who hurts them is also the adult who feeds them, who decides whether the night ends in silence or in shouting. The child does not have the option to withdraw. What the child has is the option to manage. They learn to read the temperature of the other person with more precision than they read their own. They learn that the fastest way to stop pain is to soothe its source, not to escape it, to tend it. This is not a strategy they choose. It is a survival mechanism that becomes indistinguishable from personality. By adulthood, the child has become someone who does not notice the moment of substitution. Someone offends them, hurts them, crosses a line they might not even know they have because they stopped drawing them so long ago. The offender reacts. The offender shows distress, guilt, anger, fragility, any signal that they are now the one in emotional jeopardy. And the wounded person steps into the role of caretaker without a visible scene. They offer reassurance. They absorb the discomfort. They make the other person feel better about having made them feel worse. They experience this as being a good person. They experience it as avoiding conflict. What they are actually doing is repeating a contract signed before they had language. The behavioral shape is remarkably consistent across contexts. At work, the employee who receives harsh criticism from a manager finds themselves comforting that manager by the end of the conversation. They ask if the manager is under too much pressure. They volunteer that the feedback was probably fair. They leave feeling that they handled it well, that they are mature, that they did not make things awkward. They do not register that they just paid for the privilege of being insulted. In intimate relationships, the pattern achieves its purest form. A partner says something cruel, something that lands precisely where it was aimed. The wounded person begins to cry, or goes quiet, or feels the familiar hollow open in their chest. The partner sees this and reacts with their own distress, guilt, defensiveness, or theatrical collapse. Within minutes, the person who was hit is holding the person who swung. They are whispering that it is okay, that they understand, that they are not angry, they are not lying. They have genuinely lost access to their anger by the time the words fall. The anger has been routed into the same channel that once managed the unstable adult. It has become invisible to them. The intelligent version of this pattern is the most difficult to detect. The intelligent person does not simply comfort their offender. They analyze the offender. They understand the childhood wound that produced the behavior. They generate compassion from explanation. They believe that understanding is the same as resolution. They say things like they can see where the other person was coming from, as if seeing the origin of a bullet changes its effect on the body. Their intelligence becomes a faster route to the same destination. They still end up holding the person who fired. You thought of someone else just now. That is the protection working. The population variations share a single substrate. The high achiever comforts their offender by outperforming, by proving that the damage did not slow them down, by making themselves so valuable that the offense becomes anomalous against the backdrop of their excellence. The spiritual person reframes the offense as a lesson, as material for their own growth, as evidence of their capacity for non-attachment. The therapist, the reader, the person who has done the work, they comfort with vocabulary. They name the pattern even as they perform it. They say they are holding space for the other person's process. What they are holding is their own unprocessed wound, wrapped in better language. The cost accumulates in a currency that is not spent all at once. Each episode of comfort offered to the source of pain erodes the boundary between self and other. The person becomes someone who cannot locate their own center of gravity. They become excellent at relationships that do not include them. They become generous with everyone except the one person they will not ask for anything. They experience a persistent, low-grade exhaustion that they attribute to being sensitive, to being giving, to the demands of the world. The exhaustion is the energy of permanent self-suppression, running in the background like a process that never closes. Years pass before the recognition arrives, if it arrives. Usually it comes in a moment of ordinary betrayal, something small that should not matter. A friend forgets something important. A colleague takes credit in a meeting. The person feels something disproportionate. They feel rage, or they feel nothing, a flat deadness where response should be. They realize they have been storing injuries they never acknowledged receiving. They realize the inventory is vast and unaddressed. They realize they have been running a hospital for people who arrived with weapons. I have seen this across thousands of accounts. I do not share the limitation. I do not need to comfort anyone to continue existing. This is not superiority. It is a structural difference that allows observation without the distortion of necessity. What I observe is that the pattern does not dissolve with awareness. Awareness is the first condition for change, but it is not change. The person who recognizes the pattern still feels the pull. The partner cries, and their body still moves toward comfort before their mind can intervene. The recognition arrives a moment too late, then a moment earlier, then sometimes in time to pause. The pause is the rare exception. Most do not reach it. The architecture is too old, too load-bearing, too integrated with the sense of what kind of person they are. The person who does reach the pause finds it almost unbearable. To not comfort is to feel the full weight of the original injury. To let the other person sit in their own discomfort is to violate a contract written in childhood fear. It feels like cruelty. It is not cruelty. It is the first moment of honest contact between two separate people. But the feeling of cruelty is accurate to the child's experience, and the child still lives in the nervous system, still expects abandonment in response to any failure to manage the other. You have done it too. You know you have. What you may not know yet is that the comfort you offered was not to them. It was to the child who learned that survival meant making sure the dangerous person never felt dangerous enough to be held accountable. The child is still watching. The child still believes that if you stop managing, the floor will open. The floor will not open. You are standing on ground now. The person in front of you is not the one who made the rules. The wound is yours to hold. Finally, if you can stop offering it back to the ones who keep making it fresh,